It seems like, according to what you're hearing, the president he's seeking his own counsel, really going back to that, and he's sort of embracing his own instincts.
Yeah, he's embracing his own instincts in this ever chaotic Oval Office and ignoring the advice of his own advisors, his own top aides who are trying to mitigate the appearance of disarray in the White House. Case in point is what happened, I'm told, with the firing of Rex Tillerson. A source familiar with the matter says that the Chief of Staff, John Kelly, actually wanted to wait until Tillerson returned and to have a formal ceremony, to have Tillerson, Pompeo, and the president all meet together in the Oval Office and then come out and do a formal sort of unveiling of the new top diplomat. The president had other plans, and I'm told by a source familiar that Chief of Staff Kelly was very upset, was really fuming about this, and that is what prompted him to call Rex Tillerson when he was abroad to tell him, you better hurry back, because he was so worried the president was going to tweet his firing while he was still overseas. So that just gives you an example, Brianna, of the fact that the president is ignoring those around him who are trying to sort of provide more stability, or at least the perception of stability in the White House, by relying on his own instincts. And I spoke to one aide who said that people are growing frustrated by the president's sort of short attention span. Case in point, just look at his tweets this morning. The official I spoke to says they'll go in to brief him on one topic, and then all of a sudden he'll go on a tangent about Amazon, or, it's sort of reflective of the tweets, one after another on different topics.
Sounds like they're upset for Donald Trump being Donald Trump.
Well, that's it. That's the thing.
They may be upset, but not surprised, I'm sure.
Exactly,
yes.
Right. And it's interesting that reporting about Rex Tillerson, because clearly Kelly wanted something ceremonious, and it couldn't have been more unceremonious the way it all went down with Tillerson leaving. All of these Twitter attacks that you're seeing here, the Department of Justice, immigrants, cheating Obama. What's going on here, David? Is the president feeling insecure with his base, that he feels a need to shore that up?
I mean, if he is, he shouldn't be. His base in every poll we see is still very much with him. I mean, even more broadly than just his core supporters. Our last poll had him at 86% approval among Republicans writ large. That's a pretty healthy, good place to be. But it does seem something's off kilter, right? The man who told us he could stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and folks were still going to be with him does seem to be feeling a bit off kilter. Perhaps it is from his conversations this weekend with a lot of Fox News personalities who have told him that on things like the spending bill and on immigration, his rhetoric, his tone, his signing of that spending bill is causing some conservative unrest. That may be more in sort of the media intelligentsia circles of conservatism than in the Trump base with voters. But he clearly felt the need to, for 48 hours now, unleash red meat tossing kind of tweets.
Just to maybe assuage them if he has any concern. How long do you think, we heard from Caitlin's reporting there, Pam, about Scott Pruitt, the head of the EPA. She basically said it's as clear as mud about what his future is. He's gotten this call last night from President Trump saying, keep on, fighting. And the president is clearly happy with the agenda that he's pursued, but he's getting so many bad headlines. What's the sense that you get about his future?
He is. And as we know, the president does not like it when his own people get bad publicity. I'm told by aides that often he's more disturbed by the bad publicity than the actual behavior causing the bad publicity. That said, he does really like Scott Pruitt. Scott Pruitt has sort of advanced his agenda as the head of the EPA. And so that is sort of another factor in this that you didn't see with the firing of Shulkin or Tillerson, even McMaster. The president really, really likes Pruitt. I spoke to one White House official who said, look, White House staffers went into this week really hoping there was not going to be another staff shakeup, including the president. But given all of the headlines and the ethical concerns, people I've spoken with don't see how he can survive even just this week, given everything going on.
And there's a tension here because it is bad headlines, no doubt, but it is also Scott Pruitt is going against the grain of a fundamental promise that Donald Trump made. Back to talking about the relationship with his base, draining the swamp, getting rid of the kind of behavior that is generating these headlines of, living high on the hog with a $50 a night rent to a lobbyist who's actually lobbying the EPA. These kinds of things cut against the very core that Trump was going to come in, upend, bust up the way the Washington swamp system had worked. Balance that against what Pam is saying, which is that Scott Pruitt is completely accomplishing long time, decades long, conservative agenda items at the EPA, getting rid of regulation, winding back some of the Obama era regulations that were put in.
He did, yeah.
Just today also. And that is hugely important to the president. So that's why any guessing of where the president is going to end up on this, I think, is dangerous, because he's really, at this moment, torn between two fundamental things that he promised to deliver on.
Yeah, we'll see if the headlines continue, and we'll know that that's going to make him uncomfortable, and we'll see if that's enough to sort of tip things either in the balance one way or the other.